How do you know how to set the benchmarks, the measurements, to be able to make sure that you're going to reach or attain the goals that you have set for your business? Hey, I'm Michele Sissom, and I want to welcome you to Entrepreneurs Take Action. You know, in the last video, we were talking about focusing on certain numbers in our business to make sure that our business is growing in the way that we want it to grow. And in that video, I said that I would do a second video, this one, to talk to you about the actual measurements, the benchmarks on the things that we should be tracking. Now, if you didn't get to see the last video, you've still got time to go do that. You can go check it out at decisiveminds.com/tracking. And when you do, you'll see that video there. You'll also see a downloadable spreadsheet that I use in my business. Every Monday, my team gives me a report. It's called our Monday Marketing Report. And in that report, I receive numbers in, what our social media activity looked like. How is our community growing? How many people opted onto our list? Where did they come from? What are our conversion rates on those opt-in pages and different things like that. The numbers that I want to track in my business, because we're focused on a couple of things. Number one, community building. What is your community? That's your social media reach. It's also your list size. So list building is another thing that we are focused on. In the other video, I talked about why. We do that because what I know to be true is, especially in service-based businesses, people need to build relationship with you. It's called relationship marketing. When they know you, when they like you, when they trust you, it's much easier for them to spend money with you. So we need to be building community to build that aspect, give them the ability to build their own relationship with us. So today we're talking about what we should be looking at, focused on that spreadsheet, looking for results, right? How do we know what we need to do to get to where we want to go? So a couple of things that I wanted to talk to you about today. Number one was to, again, stay focused on your community building. So when you're looking at social media, you're going to be looking for, is the size of my community growing? So that's a really good first measurement. What size do you want it to be? And what is the growth rate at which you would want it to grow? Do you want to see 10 new Facebook friends every week? Set some goals there on what that looks like. 10 to 15. If you did 10 a week, I want you to think about this. 10 new friends on Facebook, 10 new connections on Twitter, 10 new connections on LinkedIn, whatever that is. You set those goals. If you did that consistently for the next 52 weeks, at the end of the year, you've added an additional 520. You want to add 5,000? Okay, do 100 every week, right? So find a number that is right for you. Don't be way out there in never land, but stretch a little bit. If you can easily do 5, then do 10. If you're easily doing 10, then shoot for 15 or 20. Okay? Set some goals there. The other thing you're going to see on the spreadsheet is that we're tracking engagement. It's very different to look at whether engagement is up or engagement is down. If engagement is down, then why did that happen? There were a couple of times in the last couple of months when our engagement was through the roof. And I contacted my social media people and said, okay, tell me what's going on. What are we focused on? What are they liking? Right? Because it tells us some things about our audience. And if they like something in particular, we go back and we do more of that. So we're not just looking at the numbers. We want to be analyzing those numbers and why they're happening the way they're happening. The second thing is number of visitors to your website. Extremely important. You're going to see that on here. We're tracking how many people are opting in. We're actually tracking how many people are going and visiting your website. You can be doing that with Google Analytics, or some of you might have a cPanel. You have someone who's doing your website for you. Tell them you have to be able to get access to your website traffic and make sure that they tell you how you can get those numbers. If you've got a team, your team should be putting this together for you and handing it to you every week. You should not be doing this on your own. So I made some notes here. I don't want to be sure I don't forget anything, okay? So what can you implement if you see that the numbers are low? What can you implement to get more people to your website? Should you be posting more blog posts on social media? Because when someone clicks on the blog post on Facebook, then they come to your website. When they get to your website, they can see that you have an opt-in. So hopefully there's going to be some conversion from that traffic, right? Do you need to do a webinar where people opt in for the webinar? Do you need to include a pop-up on your website so that people, when they come to your website and then they try to go away, they get the pop-up that says, hey, did you get our free gift, right? So what do you need to do to increase the site visits to your website? The third thing I want you to focus on is the actual conversion. And so, it's hard to say sometimes to just give you a generic number for conversion. I am going to give you some numbers, but the numbers vary based on the level of relationship of the person who's coming to your website. So if someone who has a very high relationship with their audience sends you traffic that trusts that person, you might have a higher conversion than, say, cold traffic from an ad on Google, right? So it's kind of hard to give you some definite numbers, but I'm going to anyway, because I want you to have some goals to shoot for. So let's talk first of all about your main opt-in. That is your, for me, it's highlypaidauthority.com. It shows up on my main website. It's got its own opt-in page. People who see that opt-in, my goal is to have at least a 40% opt-in rate from my main opt-in. So is it your ebook? Is it a video? Whatever that is that you've got, when people see that, we want a 40% conversion in that. Now, if they're seeing it through a pop-up, okay, so you know what a pop-up is, right? That's those boxes that pop up on the screen when you're leaving a website, or maybe when you've just gotten to a website. You're not going to, it might be hard to believe, but pop-up rates are running at about 50% right now. Better than having one just on your website. So all of you out there who are constantly complaining about pop-ups, guess what, guys? They work. If your pop-up is not converting at 50%, then you need to be looking at why is that. So is it because you missed the mark on your message? Or you don't have the right title on whatever it is that you are trying to get people to opt in for? There's some disconnect there. So the first thing is, you don't know if that's true until you know that enough people are coming to your website. Again, back to the conversation of how much traffic is going there. But I don't want to get too far off topic. Pop-ups should be closing or opting in about 50%. Now let's talk about webinars and teleseminar pages, right? So you decide that you're going to build your list using webinars. Guys, I did so many teleseminars and webinars those first 3 years. Actually, I still do a lot of them, but that's how I built my list, was through the Ultimate Blog Challenge and through lots and lots and lots and lots of teleseminars and webinars. It really works. So, but whenever you are doing a teleseminar or webinar, you should see about a 40% conversion when people go to that page. I would actually say anywhere from 35 to 45% is a good number there, okay? If you don't see that, then you have to stop and say, number one, did enough people come to the website? So how many people saw it? If you said to me, that you've had thousands of people see it and only a couple of people opt in, we've got a definite messaging problem. We've missed the mark on our message. So, so those are the first things to look at. And then the other number that I wanted to give you was email open rates. So many times I hear people saying that they just, why bother with the email because the open rates are so low. And the open rates do seem like they're low. Right now they're running anywhere from 14 to 18%. If you're getting that type of open rate on your emails, you're doing fabulous. You get anything above that, you're doing really good. When you have a super small list, okay, if your list is down in the 200 or less, or a couple of hundred, 300 maybe, you should probably be seeing a 25 to 30% open rate. It does drop as your list grows, but I'd much prefer have, 1,000 people open and only be getting an 18 or 15% open rate than having only, 25 people open because 25% of 100 opened it. So I want you to look at it like that. Don't get hung up on the open rate. Build your list, and then let's look at it and make sure that you're getting opens the way you should be getting them. All right, so that was a lot of information. You might want to go back, watch the video, write it all down again, set some goals on what the traffic is, right? This is all about building community, and we're building community so that you can be building the audience that buys your services from you, whether you're a coach or whatever that might be, okay? One last reminder, you can go and get this tracking sheet. You should do that. Go download the tracking sheet at decisiveminds.com/tracking. All right, this is Michele Sissom saying be decisive, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.